now? Yeah.
Going live in like 30 seconds.
30? Okay. Ready? I'm like, so you got all your charges dropped. So what about the child support?
Don't do me like that. Don't do me.
Just come out and clown it. Ready? All right, welcome back, welcome back. This is episode 4 of the Bag Talk. And special thanks to Reality Radio. And this episode of the Bag Talk is sponsored to you by Hyperion Capital for all your funding needs, whether unsecured, secured, or business loans or equipment loans. You can go to HyperionCapital.net. And I got very special guest, Jefe, Eli Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, fam? Glad to have you on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's an honor.
Appreciate it. From Model Mortgage, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I got my co-host one time, Mike Lewis.
What's happening?
Appreciate you coming through, fam.
Oh yeah.
All right, now let's get to you, man. Like, tell me your spiel, man. Like, what's like your opening spiel to somebody, man?
Somebody?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Eli the mortgage guy, man.
Eli the mortgage guy.
Eli
Okay.
the mortgage guy. Catchy, swing, just try to grab people's attention with that.
So, what is like the mission statement for like Model?
Model mortgage.
Yeah.
Basically, it's leaving your worries and because buying a mortgage, we all know can be stressful. You know what I mean? So it's basically coming home to the experts. You know what I mean? That's the whole analogy mission statement. Because our job as experts is to make the mortgage buying process as easy and simple as possible. So really, that's what we believe in.
Okay, so I mean, you look young, man. You look like you're about 19, 20, man, and I'm sure you probably get that a lot. Like, how do you get people comfortable? Let's say I'm like, I'm an empty nester. I'm like 55.
Right.
And like you coming to me, like,
Right.
because I'm be thinking like, man, I got like grandkids your age. Like, how do you get people like that to kind of feel comfortable about like rocking with you?
Yeah, it comes over time, to be honest with you. Occasionally I may get that for the people that's on their third, fourth house or been doing it again. Occasionally I may get that client that may say, hey, I've been buying houses before you were even born, type of deal. But it comes over time with me showing my work, showing why, hey, this program makes the most sense for you based on your situation. And usually I've been, pretty good with that successfully. It's, it's hit or miss, but, it's like a show and prove type of thing.
Okay, so, one thing we really want to do on this podcast,
Mhm.
I mean, we can talk mortgages and
Right,
all that, but I try to make it as real life as possible
Yes,
and
sir.
and then make it realistic.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're not a robot. You don't
Right.
just wake up out of a chamber with a suit on, and just
Right.
start doing mortgages, man.
Right.
It's your everyday life. So what are some of the things that you do to kind of like balance out, along with the hustle and grind? If you don't understand, man, it's a real estate. It's a tough business, man.
It
It's very
is.
violent.
It is. I like to have fun any way that I can. Me and my wife, we love comedy shows. We're real big into that. We always downtown Detroit doing different things with comedy, seeing Cedric, Mike Epps, etc. I just like to have fun. Sports. We got the Super Bowl coming up. I usually like to host Super Bowl parties at my house and having everybody over.
You want to make a prediction real quick?
Patriots all day, man.
Oh
Tom
my
Brady,
God,
man.
this guy.
The
Man,
magician,
you gonna have to lead us
the
up,
master,
man. You coming
the
with this
master.
Tom Brady
I'm
shit?
sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry,
Get
man.
this guy out of here.
I'm
man.
sorry.
My bad. I didn't know he was on that team.
That's
I didn't know.
That's gross.
He
man.
got the blueprint. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, you ain't alone.
I mean,
Sweet.
I don't rock with the NFL like I
Like you
used
used
to, but
Okay.
I just got a feeling about the Rams.
Hey,
First
I
of all,
like
they're
this.
not even supposed to be there. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
you know-
Right. Let's
So,
get
Thank you.
really
I don't feel comfortable, picking the Rams.
We
But I don't
never
like
know.
the Patriots, so I don't have a choice, but they shouldn't be there.
We never know.
right.
What if? Okay, what if they fumbled the next play? We don't know.
Yeah, we
See,
don't,
this is
but-
my thing, man. Like the
I doubt
players,
it.
everybody's
Right.
bitching and whining about the officials and how they got screwed over, but nobody talks about how Cap got screwed over.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's-
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why listen? Why should anybody listen to the players now?
Right.
You know, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right, we gotta have a
So
whole
you're
second.
keeping the work life balance.
Absolutely. It's important.
So how long you been married now, man? Congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. About 2 years now.
Okay.
About 2 years.
Okay. So what's like the motivation? Does that add on to the motivation of you like doing what you're doing, knowing that you're responsible for somebody else?
Oh, of course, man. Of course. I don't have any children yet, but again, that's only adding fuel to the fire, and just want to create a foundation. For me and my family. I think that's really important. You know what I mean? I had that growing up, and I think it's my obligation just moving forward, just to keep setting that boundary.
Okay, so let's kind of rewind before we kind of get into
Okay.
the meat of things.
Okay.
What were you like in high school, man?
I was look, no.
You was that dude? I can see that.
I was that dude, but on the flip side, I got a lot of haters too. You know what I mean? Because I was the ladies' man kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Really?
So I can remember
Yeah.
I can remember.
You see it?
But you know
You can
what?
see got that look in his
Look,
eye.
look, I can say, look at what he got on.
Oh,
Like,
stop it.
He ain't
Stop
playing.
it.
He ain't
Right, he's not. It's
No.
not a game out here.
Stop it. So, I can remember back in middle school, man, like the whole school wanted to fight me at one point in time.
Oh,
You know that.
man.
You know that. And then the girl that set you up to get her boyfriend or her brother to come to
Getting
school. Yeah.
Getting them mad.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. But,
What high school did you go to?
man, so I went to like 3 different high schools, bro.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's why my story is pretty interesting. So, 9th grade, I went to Crockett Technical High School when it was downtown.
Yeah.
Off of Mac down there. So I spent 1 year there. Then my 10th and 11th grade, I went to Mumford High School on the west side.
That's an eye
Right.
combination.
Then look, I was surprised y'all went to my last one, right? So I spent 2 years there, and then I don't know if y'all remember, like 2007, 2008, when it was closing all those schools.
Right.
My mom wanted me to take me out of that environment, per se. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I went over to on the east side in St. Clair Shores, Lakeview High School.
Oh, right on 12. It was like 12 and Little Mac.
11 in Little Mac over
Okay.
there, man. So I go from predominantly black, you know what I mean, to
Right.
like the only brother in the whole, like,
With
Mix.
Todd and Melanie.
correct. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Because you went to Groves too, so you can relate to that.
Oh,
Grove is
You went
where's
to
that?
Birmingham Grove.
Oh.
13
So
and
he went to
everything,
some.
so
Wow.
He was in a white school.
Yeah,
So we was in the same. How many blacks was in
man,
your?
handful.
Yeah,
Him and his
I was
brother?
in that same.
In his
I was in that
janitor?
same
Yep.
deal. How did you spend all 4 years there, or?
Yes.
Oh wow.
4 years.
How was that for you? How was that
We'll
experience?
say the Falcons.
What's with the Falcons, man? I feel like so long. What? 15 years.
I think y'all the Falcons, man. I don't know how I remember that.
Yeah, I know I won the Eagles.
I think it's the
I believe it
Falcons.
was the Falcons. But I mean, it was honestly, man. I think my first couple years it was still kind of hard getting used to.
Right.
My junior senior year was not.
Yeah, it was nothing.
So do you think that helped you as far as your mindset?
Absolutely. It
Culture-
changed.
culture change.
Culture shock. It helped me to realize that it's a bigger world than what we see in the inner city. You know, I've experienced both worlds. So I think that's really helped me and translate into my business acumen to where I can turn the switch on, turn it off. You know, I'm kicking it with my brothers at the same time. I get it, but it comes a point in
Learn your
time you got
language,
it. Right. You know, and realizing like, hey, it's a big world out there based
Right.
on what we see. And I think a lot of kids don't I wish, you know, every kid can kind of experience that early on, you know what I mean? Just because it helps like set the tone. I feel
Right.
like where you want to go in life. You know
So
what I
where
mean?
did you get your hustle from? Because ever since I know you, man, you cool, but you all about your business. So
Correct.
where did you get that work ethic and hustle from?
Honestly, I think it instilled in me one. You know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father used to own a detailing shop in Clinton Township for a number of years, so I seen that day in and day out. You know,
Okay.
the amount of hard work and dedication like I mentioned to you, my neighbor growing up in the city too owned a concrete business. So technically that was my first job before the Detroit
Okay.
Zoo. You know what I mean? So I was getting paid under the table, 12,
Kind of
13
like
year
the
old.
fancy guy, like doing the, like doing the labor stuff. And
Yeah.
help carrying stuff
Correct.
in. And, okay.
Correct. So I seen that hands on, you know what I mean? And then on the flip side, my mother owned a restaurant in the city at the time for a couple years. It was called the Cozy House of like Nichols and Livernois. So just seeing that hands on.
Okay.
Yeah, I come from a family of that, you know what I mean? And then now my uncle starting a business, and my cousin. So it's all around me, but.
Shout out to Daniel. I gotta get Daniel. That's gonna
yes.
be wow.
I told him I was
Daniel come on, man.
yes, we gotta have another segment, which is up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's an interesting character.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think people will love that.
Got the $1 million mouthpiece.
Yes, yes. And he got some stories, man. He been through a lot, man. So I think he'd be a good person to just speak to people.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay, so you start working at the zoo, man. What was that like, man?
Oh
You
my
up in there
God.
with-
Oh my God. So let me tell y'all the interview process. I don't know if anybody remember, but at the time, they was going through the inner city schools, because I got this while I was in like high school, like ninth, 10th grade, around that time. So they posted like a job posting. It was the Detroit Zoo, because they was hiring kids for like summer, and it was the golf club over there off of
Chandler Park?
was it Chandler Park?
Woodward and 7 Mile.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
So we already right. We know about this. So man, they post that up in the school. Man, y'all took me back. I didn't even think about that. But dude, it was crazy. So I get there in the interview, and first off, you know the Detroit Zoo, right? How big that parking lot is, right?
Yes.
The line was all the way down to the end where the exit was at.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
Was it open interviews or something?
It was open interviews for everybody.
Everybody and their mama.
Everybody and
Jump
their
on.
mama was there. So man, I stood in line for dang near 2 hours though, because I wanted it, man. I'm like, listen,
Was it hot outside too?
no, it was freezing. It was like
freezing.
this.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And no, actually colder than this. You know what I mean? Like 2-3 degrees. I was bundled though. I was layered. So I'm
Right.
like, listen, I gotta get this. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I set my mind to do something. I said, I gotta do it. So man, I can remember like, as I'm walking into the door, I'm finally there. 2 hours later, right? You know, my mom had dropped me off, so she calling me and everything, constantly calling me. I'm right at the door, man, about to go into the interview. I'm like, you know what? I can't, because I already know what she said. She was waiting outside for me this whole time.
Right.
She was ready to go. So I'm like, man, I gotta do it. Like, you know what I mean? This is like 2 hours of my life wasted if I don't go. I'm like, you know what? I can't.
Right.
So man, I can remember like it was yesterday. The manager, because I had a shirt and tie on. I remember everybody else was like, they just had on like hoodies, different kinds. They weren't dressed for the attire, right? But I knew that. My mom was like, listen, if you want to stand out, boom, this is what you gotta do. All right. So I did it, right? I can remember I was like sweating bullets. The manager looked at me and was like, nah, go in. Like he was like, it was so many people that they had to start turning people away.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked at me, he saw my attire. I could remember that same look. I was like my
like,
life was on the line, like
Right.
everything. He was like, go in. And boom, I made it happen. I was like, are you serious? Came out of that
People
book.
don't understand. It be little stuff
Little
like that
stuff.
that make the difference.
Correct. Appearance, that's one of the things that I feel like they taught me as well. Appearance is key, especially in business. You know what I mean? You want people to take you seriously.
First impression.
First
Yeah.
impressions is everything. It may be your last impression. So I think that's
What was that?
important.
What they had you doing at the zoo? You was like cleaning up.
No, man. A lot of people confuse like So, and they still got this now. So you know when you go in the zoo, man, you got the gift shops. and
Right,
everything.
right.
So that's where I worked.
Oh,
I worked in
okay.
the gift shop,
So
the retail.
You was dealing with people and you was like the friendly
Sale.
guy.
Right, cashier,
Oh, okay.
stocker, all that. You know what
Cool,
I mean?
man.
So,
Okay. So what happens like after you get out of high school?
So, man, after I get out of high school, I did a summer job. I was like we used to work on a yacht as like a waiter / bartender. So I did that for a number of years right out of high school. At the same time, going to community college. So I went to Macomb Community College for Business.
All right.
And I did that for a couple of years, and then I took a little break, man, because I did the Disney internship.
Really?
Yeah, I went down to Orlando. Man, I was just in business. I'm like, listen, I gotta get it. some way, somehow. You know what I mean? I seen my
Okay.
life like this, but I
So
didn't
you
really
moved
know.
down to Florida.
Correct.
So you was like Kissimmee, which is like outside. You was in Kissimmee, huh?
Right. For a year, man.
Orlando's a cool little city, man.
It
People
is.
think like it's just all Disney World, man.
No,
I ain't
man.
never been on that. So I don't know.
Orlando,
You gotta go
and
check
it's
it
not
out,
far
man.
from Tampa either.
It's
like
not.
an hour from Tampa.
It's not. But I was down there for about a year.
Okay.
That changed my life.
Wow, what was that like?
Man, it was like, okay, now I'm going, you know, I went to Lakeview, meaning in St. Clair Shores. I seen what that was like. I'm like, okay, cool. But when you going down to a whole nother state, no family, no nothing. First time leaving. That was like my college.
So how old were you then?
I was about 19.
Okay.
So I did my 1 year at the Macomb Community. I saw that opportunity because at the time they was posting it at Macomb Community College.
Right.
Disney internship, boom, boom. So I'm like, man, let me see what this is about. Who knows? I'm always the type of person, like, I take whatever I can from the experience
Right.
and just apply it to whatever I want to do. So I'm like, I seen it as an opportunity, big brand, big logo. Let me see what I can do. Boom, got that. Here I am, what, a month or two later, packing my bags, going to
Okay.
Florida. Had to convince my mom, and, you know, that was just crazy.
So what they have you doing at Disney?
So I was in same thing, retail, and
Okay.
then also they had us take because they was asking for our majors. My major at the time was business, so they had me take some business courses with them. They had like their own university. It was
Right,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People sleeping on Disney, man.
Man,
Disney's a
period.
gigantic corporation.
Period.
Man.
And
they
they
own
connected.
Marvel.
Everything,
Oh, my
ESPN,
Jeez. I
ABC.
didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ESPN, ABC.
So I wouldn't even think
And they
about
want
that.
to start streaming now.
Correct.
They
Correct.
are the mafia.
Yeah.
So Black
They-
Panther, Avengers, they got all that shit.
Everything, man. So I wasn't really listening to the naysayer because at the time I didn't really say nothing anyway. Because you know how it's one of those things like it's like kind of good to be true type of thing. So I just really kept my mouth shut until, you know, things panned out. And then once I seen it was real, like they had the whole dorm set up. You got people coming from not only around the United States, you
Around the
know,
world,
around the world. I had friends from South Africa, friends from Australia. So you talking about that like expanded my mind. Like, dang, it's a huge world out here.
Okay.
And these people, we all driven some way. Like some of the people I still talk to today on Facebook.
So what were some of like the things that kind of stood out to you from like their teachings at Disney?
At Disney,
Yeah.
number one, appearance. Two,
Because you can't have a beard, sideburn.
you know
all
about
that,
it. Listen, did you
Well,
know
my
it?
brother used to work.
Oh,
with,
okay.
You know, my brother was big on beard and everything.
Okay.
And he never would cut it,
Uh-huh.
but he had to cut it down there, man.
Oh,
So he
that's
was
what's
looking
up.
crazy, man. I ain't never seen no mustache. No
Yeah.
beard.
So they teach that day one. They instill that in you day one. You going for business, boom. So again, I knew how important that was. Two, the work ethic that comes with it too. I was working crazy hours, you know what I mean? Like especially in retail, you got all those people coming in. You got to be ready. You know what I mean? You got to
Okay.
be prepared. You know, and it was just a great experience for me all the way around. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So why mortgages? Did you kind of like just stumble into that, or like you just had a thing for real estate? What made you kind of get into that?
Man, so like my story was, so I came back from Disney. So I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do? I done did the yacht thing. I done hustle, bustle, did all these things. Now let me start focus on Eli. What do you want to do? You like people. You love finances. You love numbers. You're always good at math and English. So I got into banking.
Okay.
From there, I saw an opportunity. Went into the banking world. Went in that realm. Then from there, I went to the credit union. So I started learning about credit.
Okay.
LTVs, debt to incomes, this and that. So
Right.
I'm in there. My name, it's pretty good. I'm working all around Metro Detroit, and all of a sudden I get placed in Troy out there in Big Beaver. And anybody know about Troy? That area is like the $1 million avenue. It's a lot of money that way. Look, he's look. So
you got the set out
right
there.
right. So I'm there, man, and I'm just doing my thing, you know what I mean, and everything. And I see this young guy coming in every other week, 5-figure checks.
Wow.
Kid like myself, I never seen nobody, let alone my age. He looked like my age with that kind of money. Seriously, legit.
Right.
And mind you, I'm seeing his account. I know it's an account. Dude had crazy numbers in his account. You know what I mean? But every other week, just imagine that.
So you was like a teller. You was
Yeah,
like
I was a teller. I was everything.
So he's coming in doing transactions. You looking up his account.
Right.
You see, like, man, where's this dude going?
Right. I'm like,
I worked
is
at
this
the bank
legit?
too, man. I worked at the bank too, but this was like back in the '90s, man.
Okay.
Like, you know, when people was getting like wild, crazy government checks.
Okay.
And like $4,000 a month. You know what I'm saying, on aid and all that.
Dang.
And so I see what you're talking about. You see people, like, you see them, and then it's like, you don't think they got paper. Like,
Please.
you look at the account.
Don't be
You know
fooled.
what I'm saying? They got like 400,000.
Right.
Like, dang.
That's what I'm telling us about us. Like, don't be fooled. Don't judge a book by its cover, man. Because some of the bummiest people that I would see, man, they had the most money. The most flashy. Not saying that's all the case. Some guys that's flash, they really do got it like that. But in my experience, like, it was kind of opposite.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking at this guy like, what? So after a few months go in and he, you know, you ever kind of, it's kind of like how me and you kind of met. Like, we kind of like, you know what I mean? We got similar kind of mindset, so we bound to like meet each other at one point in time in life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I felt about this young cat. So I just got the courage to ask him one day, like, man, what do you do? Like,
right.
So, like, you know how you ask somebody something and they like waiting for you to ask them that type of question? He was happy to tell me, like, man, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I said, what is that?
Right.
I knew nobody who did it.
Exactly.
I knew nobody, nothing, not on that level. You know what I mean? Anyway, so he basically told me, like, listen, I'm doing everything you doing now.
I'm just getting more money.
I'm just getting more money and I'm handling mortgages. So you got to understand mortgages.
Right.
So
government laws.
Right. Compliance.
Yeah.
All that. So that's
smart. You went to school for it?
No. I think he just got it. He got it. Well, he went to school for financing. I take that back. But you don't need to.
Because you need just 20 hours, right?
Yeah. So it's similar to a real estate license, right? So
you got to do 40 for real estate.
Yeah. So I think for NMLS for mortgage, I think you only do 20. But as far as like taking a test, you take a state exam, okay, and basically you're licensed. So at that point, you find work, whether it be in a bank or a mortgage brokerage like myself.
So what's the difference between being an actual loan officer and like a mortgage broker?
Okay, so a loan officer, we all know those people at Bank of America, right? Okay?
Right.
So these people are not individually licensed like myself, okay? So meaning they don't have to take the test. If they get hired in with like a Bank of America or something, they're operating under their license.
Okay.
Right. So you run into somebody like me, this is my specialty, this is what I study for. Not saying all those guys out there don't know what they're talking about, because there's some that do, you know what I mean? But for the most part, you looking at somebody, this is my profession. This is all I do every day, all day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more, extra care there, a little bit more pride when you're dealing with somebody like that. And it's a little bit more knowledge. Okay. So, you got a loan officer at it. Let's use Bank of America, for example. So all they're doing is selling Bank of America products, right? So if you don't have a 620 credit score, sir, you're not even getting through the door, okay? Somebody like myself as a mortgage broker, I work with 25 different lenders.
Exactly.
Which means I got options for you guys. So all I got to do, and I use the car analogy, like if anybody financed the car, how they shop around your thing, but they pull your credit 1,000 times. That's not the case with a mortgage broker. Right. So a mortgage broker, I only pull your credit once, and the lenders I work with got to use my credit report. So that's the benefit.
So is that considered like a soft pull? Is that
no? It's still considered a hard pull.
Okay.
Okay, and the hard pull is I'm pulling all 3 credit bureaus, and I'm using the middle score to qualify.
Okay. Okay, so let's kind of get it into the meat of it.
Okay.
Mortgages. Of course, we had the economic collapse. I don't think you remember like before 08. But my first house, I did an 80-20 loan.
Oh wow. My
very first one, man, with the ARM on the 20% one.
Yeah. Jesus.
So I had to basically, before it kicked in, I had to refinance. So I was actually paying extra.
Oh man.
Just to get to the point to where I could refinance, because what was happening to people, they were underwater. So some people in my neighborhood had $180,000 mortgages, but the house was worth like 125.
Wow.
So you can't refinance.
Wow.
So back then, like mortgage people, they was getting paid.
Yeah.
Like dogs
Everybody
was
in the
getting
mom was in
mortgages.
it. Yeah.
So
Everybody
everybody
was
was making 200. Everybody knew that was with mortgages. What you was doing, they was making at least 250,000. Even if
Wow.
you sucked at it.
Right. That's what
A
I said.
year?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Clean it
Everybody was getting. Everybody
It
was
was cleaned
getting.
up.
Everybody was getting loans. Everybody.
Yep.
Even if you have a job.
Yep.
So how much has that changed now? Like what's like the game now with social media involved and all that?
Yeah. Oh, it's totally different night and day. First off, you're not even getting through the door. Like I said, if you're not licensed, so you look at somebody like myself. Either you get employed by like a big bank, but they still going through their own background checks and everything. But if you decide to go independent, like myself, we're taking that state exam. Okay?
So did you go independent right out the gate?
No, so I started off, I came from Quicken Loans.
Oh wow.
Not too long ago.
That's the Carter. Quicken Loans is the Carter, man. It's just
Right. So, you know, we all know what come with that. So that's where I got my start. They licensed me, and I tell people this, listen, that's the route. They like the Harvard of the mortgage industry for sure. Because I got licensed in 19 different states dealing with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And boom, and I could take that with me. Look at that as like a degree
Right.
in the mortgage industry. It's
Right.
mine. They can't take it from me. But I had to go to the necessary steps. You know, get my credit pulled. And that's the thing too, not, you know, we selling and we preaching financial services, but me, myself, I have to be financially intact.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If my credit score fall below of whatever, like a 500 or a
You gotta
580,
rock it.
I'm done.
Yeah.
They can just snatch it like that. That's how the government cracked down on it. So me, myself, if I owe back taxes, if I got child support, alimony, stuff ain't being paid, boom, they snatching that from me.
Yeah, the
In my
government's
career.
like that too, man. You know, if you're working for the government, it's like you can't get certain clearances like if you got financial problems, like if you owe taxes, because they feel like you can be compromised.
Correct.
Yeah, because they feel like, you know, you in need of money, you're more willing to do something like unethical.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They
You
big
know
on
that.
that. Right.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
big on that, man. And I'll do anything ethical. I decide to or unethical. I decide to go rob a bank. I'm done.
Right.
Period.
Or just doing something under the table, man.
Correct.
Especially with us being black. I think David Hall, I don't even remember David Hall, Rock Financial.
Yeah, I remember.
Like he back on.
Yeah, I see him.
He
Financial.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
back out here in these streets, man.
I got some guys over there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. We gonna let that.
Gonna let that ride.
Yeah, we gonna let it ride. So how long was you at
Quicken.
How long was you at Quicken, man?
About 2 years, man.
Okay.
About 2
So what made you be like, you know what? I got the game. I got enough game. Let me just kind of just do my own thing.
I wanted my own identity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I said, coming from you know, a family of entrepreneurs, I knew that was my end goal. You know what I mean? But I knew this was the best route for me to take to get the game, like you said, and you know, get licensed, get experience. You know, get my feet dirty. You know what I mean? Feet wet. You know what I mean? So I wanted my own identity. One, I wanted to you know, work for myself, work for my, you know, my own family and my foundation and everything too. And I just didn't like the way, you know, they treated, you know, people. You know, corporate have that.
What's quick? It's a grind house,
Yeah,
man.
it's a grind house,
It's
man.
one gear, man. If you can't get
Period.
it, you out.
Period. And they set the tone from day one with you. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, I have fun.
They got some treats because you know I do cybersecurity, so we did like all their Wi-Fi and
Oh, that's what's up.
you know the
Okay.
HT projectors and the Chase building.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, y'all got like snack machines and Slurpee
Oh, yeah.
machines and cappuccino and all that, man. I'm
Oh, yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, they trap you in there. It's kind of like the casino. When you go in casino, no
Clocks,
windows,
same
no clocks. They give you whatever you want, drink, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
All right. So what I see, you know, me coming from the wholesaling end and people coming to me that's asking questions about getting a house. A lot of times people, they just think you can just, oh, you know, I want to move to West Bloomfield, so I'm just
Right,
going to get a
right.
realtor that's popping.
Right.
But they really should be going to you first. And I keep
Absolutely.
telling people, like, you have to find out how much you can afford first. Is
Correct.
that kind of how you, like, get people from the financial end.
Oh,
instead
absolutely.
of like chasing the house first.
Absolutely. When my process is, I want to get to know the client. You know what I mean? I want to have a consultation, sit down, whether it be in face to face or over the phone. I want to know your story. I want to know why you're moving. I want to know what's your financial situation. I'm gonna get all of that, as well. But I want to know the whole everything. You know what I mean? I want to know how much you can afford. You know what I mean? Tell me about, and these people, for the most part, that's why I take a lot of pride in my business too, because these people are telling me they're giving all their life. You know what I mean? So I feel like I have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To execute. Because I am. Executed because. I'm responsible for their memories in their next house. That's how I look at it.
Right.
That's how much I take pride in what I'm doing. You know what I mean? You can call me at 9 o'clock if you want to go over the documents at night.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I care that much. I care about your situation because once I get you in your situation, that's gonna help me as well. But at the same time, it's a certain gratification, man. You get. I can't explain it. When you get them people and they know they get approved and you at the closing table,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like right now I'm doing a loan for my old high school teacher, man. I can't wait.
Right.
Like she was like, I can't believe you doing mortgages. She was in process with somebody else. Once she knew I was in the game, she stopped that whole process, got with me immediately. So we going through now, but I'm like, dude, I can't wait for that. You know what I mean?
It seemed like it's like kind of twofold. Cause you got like the prime customers, and you got kind of subprime customers.
Correct.
Because people just think automatically FHA.
Right.
What are some of the other programs, like somebody with 740 scores and they making six figures, kind of like maybe person they just getting out of college, they've been working a couple of years, they got a nice little job, they got a nice score. Like what's some products for those type of people?
Well, we have our conventional product and we call it Elite. So that's anybody who is over a 740 credit score. Not necessarily income based, so you can make whatever, you know what I mean? But as long as your credit score at least is 740, you consider it an elite client. Okay? And anything like over a $250,000 loan amount as well. Okay? So that's considered our elite. But even if you just have anything above a 640 credit score, I always push my clients to conventional loan over a FHA. Like you said, it's just, I don't know where that came from, but I guess prior to 2008 or something, everybody was getting FHAs or something. I don't know.
I think it's people feel like, it's little down and it's kind of stretched out. But
Correct.
Is the 15-year mortgages more of an ideal situation? Like if I got 20,000 to put down as opposed to like maybe just 2.5% doing 30-year mortgages, do you feel like is it advantageous to kind of like shorten the length of the mortgage?
Not necessarily. And the reason I say that is because I usually go with the 15-year. Again, this is my opinion, my experience. I usually go with the 15-year mortgages for my investor clients who know they're going to pay off the mortgage within the next 2-3 years, and they have the capital to do that. If someone, let's say, and you're in a situation like that where they're getting 20% down, I still recommend them doing a 30-year mortgage. Here's why: because you never know what tomorrow may bring.
Right.
So I want to give you that comfortable payment regardless, okay? And you can always pay it off. No prepayment penalties whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So instead of having a $1,400 payment with a 15-year mortgage, you can have a $700 payment with a 30-year mortgage.
Right.
And still pay it off within the next 5-10 years, whatever.
So as far as, because I've seen people on YouTube say like if you pay twice a month, like you can pay it off faster.
Correct.
You can cut like 9 years off the mortgage.
Yeah.
Like explain that to people, because a lot of people think they're actually paying on their house, but a lot of times they paying like the interest before they even get to the principal.
Absolutely. And that's how loans are set up. You know what I mean? So one thing that I encourage people, and I relate to my clients as well, pay attention to the mortgage statement that you get every month in the mail. You know what I mean? Whether it be in the mail or, electronic. But most people, they just make a payment. They don't really look at the fine blueprint, you know what I mean, of what's going on. Because when you look at it, all loans are set up that way. Whether it be a mortgage loan, a car loan, They're
gonna get the interest first.
Interest up first. You know what I mean? So you want to request what is called an amortization schedule, okay, which is normally shown on your mortgage statement, but also you could get it like for each month for like the entire loan term. So you can ask your mortgage officer and that to print you out an amortization schedule. That gives you the breakdown of interest, principal, taxes, insurance. So you'll have it right there.
Okay, so let's say if my pity, you know, is like 1,000.
Right.
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 And I wanted to maybe pay that, but maybe I want to pay just on the kind of like on the meat of the
On the
mortgage.
principal?
Yeah.
Yep.
How would they have to set that up?
So what they can do is request, maybe call the mortgage lender and request that, hey, this extra money, I'm gonna still make my $700 normal mortgage payment, but the additional $700 that I'm gonna give you, apply it to the principal only. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. Also, with you making those double payments, it's gonna slash the interest in half anyway, because interest is accumulated daily. Okay,
Right.
so by you making an extra month payment, it's slicing 30 days off your mortgage.
So what would be like a realistic extra? So let's say like, okay, it's income tax time.
Okay.
What can somebody do to kind of like help themselves for the year? Like, let's say they got like $5,000 they want to use to like,
Okay.
you know, for their actual house.
Okay, so you saw as far as like getting approved for a
No,
house,
they
or
already
like-
got their mortgage,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? They make it, and they get their income tax return.
Okay.
And they got like an extra $5,000 to play with.
Okay, you can just call the mortgage company and say, hey, listen, I want to apply this extra $5,000 to my principal. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Yeah,
Like that?
exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I want to apply this extra $5,000 to my principal balance, and they should be able to give you a statement showing your principal reduction.
Okay, so I hear about sometimes mortgages companies buying other mortgage companies.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of like their payments getting lost in translation.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Like how do you like help your clients through that? Because a lot of times
Yeah.
it takes like, you know, time to, you know, get caught up and stuff like that.
Right. I just am brutally honest with them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, it's a special type of loan that won't get sold. Cause me personally, I mean, my mortgage has been sold twice already. You know what I mean? Within about 2 years. You know what I mean? It's just the name of the game. It's just the way they make
Because I
money.
learned, did you ever see The Big Short?
Man,
Oh, man.
listen.
That's my movie, man. I had to watch the movie like
Nobody
3 times.
Nobody watched that.
Listen, I got the movie. It's sitting right on my dresser right now, man. I gotta watch it though. I gotta watch it.
You got to
Yeah,
watch
I got
that,
it.
man.
I know.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learned
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
about the mortgage, like the
Industry.
inside part.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard it was like the Wild Wild West. Mind you, I've only been in the game for about 3 years now. But
Basically, what these cats was doing, they bet on, like, okay, you have like these like different grades. Like they were betting on the non-performing mortgages, like the
What?
B and C mortgages. So they invested that those mortgages were short.
Uh-huh.
So they just went all in with it.
What?
Yeah. And so mortgage companies like, yeah, you can buy those loans,
Uh-huh.
but they bet against it.
Wow.
And they just made millions, man.
Dang, they killed it.
Yeah, they killed the game. They killed the game, man.
I'm watching.
Yeah, you got to watch that. Yeah. So, because we realize, you know, most of us, you know, especially, you know, people with African Americans, we don't know a lot about
Mortgages.
mortgages. We just know just pay the bills.
Right.
A lot of us, we have problems with taxes. We have credit issues. We may be working, but we don't just
Save.
really. Yeah, we don't have the bank statements right. We got
It's all
NSFs.
spooky now.
Freestyling, man.
Freestyle.
So, like, how do you help that crowd out? That's kind of like they right there.
Yeah.
They just.
I have that one-on-one consultation, man, but you know, honestly, I definitely, now that you say that, I want to definitely get with you too and create like a nice big buyers list. And you know, me myself, I'm getting more off into like home buying seminars. I've done one,
Yeah.
you know, before. I have an event coming up this week, you know, that we talked about, and educate people on the home buying process, you know, more so my people too. I feel like I have an obligation, you know, as well, you know, with my community, because like you said, who is teaching us that? We just
Right.
going along with the flow.
What
know
What
I
are
mean?
some like the programs that's out here like to help people like far as like first time home buyers?
First time home buyer, well, you got the Mister program where you can get up to $15,000. A lot of people don't know about that. You have to.
That's like step 4. Is that the same thing?
Step 4 is a little bit different.
Okay.
A little bit different, but Mister is most common right now. But you have to be in a certain area
Right. Certain
in order.
zip codes.
There's certain zip codes. Your income has to be under a certain amount to qualify for that. Of course, you got the FHA program, 3.5%, but also the conventional loan, which I do mostly as well, is the first time home buyer 3% down.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the most common right now. Mortgages.
Okay. So is there like mortgage programs for people? Like basically, what's the lowest score you can do? So let's say like I'm a truck driver. I'm making money.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people they got the money,
Right.
but they don't have a credit. Like what's the
Right.
like worst case scenario for somebody to get a crib?
Man, like honestly, I have closed a loan with a little as a 550
Wow.
credit score. Okay?
Okay.
So I tell people when I dive into that realm, because honestly, I don't like to touch nothing lower than a 580. I can
Right.
do a 580. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And again, everybody's situation different, so I'm not guaranteed. Please don't call me tomorrow and expect me to approve you. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Just because
right.
you got a 580, it's different. Everybody's scenario is different. So that's why I have a full diagnostic of their credit report. But I tell people, you can't have neither. You can't have lower credit and no money. You gotta have one or the other. You either gotta have high credit.
One gotta be outstanding.
One gotta be outstanding. So this
Right.
guy that I closed with 550 credit score, the guy put down 20%. And funny thing, he was a truck driver. Those truck drivers, they got a lot of cash and they got a lot of.
I know one guy that's
residual.
making $100 an hour.
Wow. Okay.
I know somebody that did more. They told me the 4 P's of people who have like the worst credit. I think it's like painters, police officers. You ever hear about that?
No, that's my first
It's
time.
4 P's. They said it's like 4 professions where people typically have. They got the money
The
and
money.
everything, but they credit it's painters,
Exactly.
plumbers, police officers, and it was something else. I can't remember the
You
other
said
one.
they got the credit for their money.
Like they usually have the most jacked up credit. Okay. So just kind of give us your plug, man, and what's some of the, you talked about the seminar, what's some of the things that you kind of got like mapped out for 2019?
Just educating people, you know what I mean, just on the home buying process, letting them know like, hey, it's not as complicated as you think. You know what I mean? That same $1,400 that you're paying in rent, you could possibly slash that in half on a mortgage. And not only that, you just educating them on the benefits, the tax benefits when it comes to owning a home. You know what I mean?
And now, how did that change this year
As far as, well, I know it's still pending in a lot of ways, but it is to our favor with Trump and stuff doing with a lot of tax benefits and everything. But of course, with the government shutdown and all these things,
Right.
Going on, it's a lot still moving parts in that. But just know it's in your best benefit to own a home. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, that's the overall idea, and I'm trying to pitch that to people and show them like, hey, you don't have to get the $350,000 house right away. Let's work in steps. Let's get a $50,000, $70,000. You know what I mean? Those kind of people. Or,
Right.
if you do want to get to that level, hey, I can help you there as well.
And I really think you're doing the right thing with your branding, man,
Thank you.
because I think what's going to happen is that with the way social media is going, more and more people are more informed.
Yeah.
They need context.
Correct.
So even though they got the information, and I think that's what I see even with realtors, they're not really empowering people.
Correct.
They're not giving people all the free game.
Correct.
And do you think that's where it's kind of going? Like it's going to be less of a need to like really lean on people. People just kind of got their own thing going on.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I feel like people still want to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? It's a lot of automated systems, 1,000 videos out here, this and this. But honestly, the one-on-one interaction, you know what I mean? At least for my business right now, where I can handle it. Eventually, I'm gonna hire like some staff and then help me as well. But people still love that one-on-one interaction. Where they could talk to somebody like me who know the ins and outs of the process to be able to educate them. You know what I mean? So I think, for your average first-time homebuyer, they have no knowledge of the mortgage industry, period. So when you throw all this information at them, they only taking maybe 10% of what you're saying. You know what I
Okay.
mean? In most cases, you know what I mean?
So, I don't know if you know this, but the guy, the president of Citibank, he just bought a 12,000 square foot condo he bought the whole skyscraper in Manhattan on Central Park.
What?
238 million.
What?
So it's basically like $10,000 per square feet
Wow.
he paid for, right?
Wow.
So that's like, I was thinking like, man, whoever did that loan, man, they got paid, man.
Oh.
Like, what's like your biggest like payout today? What was
Oh,
your biggest
man,
one?
damn it.
What's
Look,
the percentage?
look, I'm going to just say this. 5 figures, bro.
Really?
5 figures.
Wow.
5 figures. You know what I mean?
What was that like, man? When you actually got it?
You know, I've been in the game long enough to know that I gotta save it.
You didn't do nothing crazy?
I
Not a
didn't
little
do
bit
nothing
crazy?
That's the mature side of
You
me.
didn't buy no Yeezys or nothing?
No chain.
Nah, I ain't into all that.
Okay.
I'm in about stacking that bank account. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, just being and just knowing how hard when you grind so hard for it, you ain't just gonna spend it like that. You know what I mean? Because you
Right.
know what it took to get it. Those sleepless nights, those salad, you know what I mean, and everything.
So what's your advice to people that may want to get in the game? Because I see a lot of people, they kind of like, they want to be entrepreneurs. So
Yeah.
they want to get into the more, what advice would you give them?
Man, just do it. I mean, we all know it's the same spiel. Like, we all know what it takes. We all know, like, you know, hey, listen, we live in America. Nobody is stopping us. I don't care what your situation is, where you came from, this and that. I mean, you hear my story. You know what I mean? I'm no different from the next man. But the only difference with me is, you know, I executed. I just went out and did it. You know, I just left quick and I was like, listen, it ain't getting no better.
So basically, it's kind of just making a decision.
Making a
You just
decision.
made moves, yeah.
Right.
Not second guessing it. Yeah.
Right, and I think it's important too to hang around people and surround yourself with people that got the same mentality. As you can see how we meshed and everything.
Right.
We on that same type of entrepreneur. That's important for people because sometimes people feel like, you know, they on this own island by themselves. But no, it's really people out here that got your same type of mentality. You just got to put yourself in position to be like that. You know what I mean? And meet
Okay.
these kind of people with social media and all this.
Bro, man, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you for
man,
having
it's
me, man.
so much more we gotta.
Yes.
We could have
We
went
gotta
into,
do a part
man,
2,
but,
3, 4, everything, brother.
Just before we go, like, give people kind of like your information, how to reach out to you, and
Okay, so it's Eli at Model Mortgage is my Facebook page. So I want everybody to go on there, like, subscribe, share. You can see a lot of my content. I got a lot of my clients on there as well. Just educating people on the mortgage process. Also, just give me a call. My phone number is 313-459-3097. I'm local. I'm in the office.
Where are you
during the
located?
week. I'm in Troy, so I'm off of Big Beaver and Crooks. Okay, so I'm usually there during the week. You know, so I'm local. And you know, people can come in there and talk to me and chat with me and just get educated on the entire process.
appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Thank
Gotta
you, man.
get you
Appreciate
back
you.
home, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for having me,
get
man.
Danny out here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He gonna love it.
Yes, but that was a wrap on episode 4 of the Bag Talk. Got a little mortgage game, but it's so much more to this whole It's so many products you can do for commercials, for apartments. So next time, man, we're gonna have to get into all that. I might do a pull-up session. I might come out to your office
Okay.
and we do a podcast. too,
Yeah,
man. So
let's
I
set up shop.
appreciate it, man.
No
Appreciate it,
problem.
bro. Yep.
Appreciate you.
I need your information clarified, if you would.
Who, Eli?
No,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We on?
Yeah, we on.
Dude, that was tight. I like that.
You did good, man. You did a good interview because you had the good energy and
Hey, that's what's up, man. I love this, dude. This
you like it?
This is dope.
Okay, what's that number?
How long you been doing this?
Just started.
586.
Oh, you great as a
36, okay, right.
great.
Appreciate it, man. You know, me and one time we used to
Who
do.
is Michael Wilson?
Oh, he was the first guy, the videographer.
Switch songs. You got too much cussing in there.
His contact, you have his contact information?
His phone number.
Clear him out.
I gotta get it to you. I didn't bring it all. I didn't know. So next time.
Is this what you wrote down?
Yeah. You got the phone number, right?
But you know what, when you do massive contacts, when we send it out, we could be able to send emails and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me see.
That's, I mean, whenever you get it, we can always update it. I'm just creating, if you look at his data file, look, all we gotta do is pull it up, and y'all's information is
I'm
on
gonna
it.
give you his website and all that.
Just,
His favorite color is indigo.